Elon's in the Epstein list and now part of the Venezuelan invasion. I'm going to give you 3 reasons to understand why Epstein's files are connected to Venezuela. And then I'm going to start dropping bombshell. You ready? You're going to feel 1,000% clear on why what's happening with Venezuela is so connected to Epstein in a variety of ways, so you can understand and never fall for his BS, because he's trying to fool everybody. Let's go. First of all, let's break it down. Epstein has 6 operators involved in the Epstein list, okay? The first operator are the lawyers. The financiers are the first. They control the money, they move the money. When I say financiers, I'm talking about people from Goldman Sachs down. Big, heavy finance people moving money, not only in sex trafficking, but in guns, in drugs, and most certainly in money laundering. That is the biggest one, where they're moving money around tremendously every day around the world, both through crypto, through electronics, even through planes and yachts and all sorts of vehicles to transport, okay? This is big, just much bigger than just sex trafficking. Number 2, there is the lawyers who are making things legal to not only move the kids, but the money. Number 3 is the assistants who help arrange things with billionaires, millionaires, celebrities. The fourth one is luxury assistants. These are people who book the planes, who book the yachts, who make sure the hotels are there that they can do this with, okay? Number 5 is the intelligence officers. These are the people who move around with the intelligence. They're selling intelligence just like you're selling, guns or weapons or drugs or boys and girls. Yeah, it sounds ugly. And then the 6th one is the fixer. Anything go wrong, they need something to disappear, even a body. That's where the fixer comes in. Where does Elon come in this? He's a member of this world. Is he a pedophile? There's been accusations. I don't know. But I know he's involved with that money. Every one of them is. The money is the priority more than the sex trafficking. But where does Venezuela come in? Here's the second thing. Venezuela, when they got invaded and they got their president and his wife kidnapped, understand something very important. Whoever takes over, and it sounds like his VP, his vice president, she taking over, if they don't get along and act right and let America come in with their business people, she's either going to die or she's going to get kidnapped too. She's going to have an accident. And the CIA has a get along with them. Now, she could be playing along like, oh, I don't believe this happened to the president, blah, 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 and be in with the CIA all the time. If she backs off of her rhetoric, if she resists those American businesses coming in, then we know she's officially real and possibly marked for death or kidnapped. But if she calms down and don't do anything and backs off, then we know she was in it with the CIA to take it down. Where does Elon come in? Well, they're going to be adding Starlink to satellite service to Venezuela. Now, you know this man, Elon Musk, don't add shit for free. But all of a sudden, he's adding this for free. Why is he adding it for free? Why is he adding it for free? For a couple of reasons. Number 1, he can add that Starlink and monitor them on behalf of the United States. Period. He can monitor everything. He can straight up put the grid, the zone, everything. So it makes it easier for the oil and the other business people to come in. 2, he can do it for intelligence reasons to really track down people. He's got satellites. And he can control the telecommunications, which brings me to something I want you to understand. There are several ways when you take over a country, you want to ask several questions you want to ask. And here's the questions we want to ask. One, why was his wife kidnapped with him? Numbers. Two, who's going to be the next leader? Well, if she backs down right now, the current standing de facto leader backs down from the United States, she was in on it. She was in on it. CIA. But if she doesn't back down, they're going to kill a kidnapper and replace her with somebody who does back down. Three, who's the head of defense? They were in on it. They were in on it. Who was the number four? Very important. Who is the person running the banks? And who knows? Number five, who knows where Maduro's money is? Because he ain't just a couple of million. He got billions stashed overseas. Okay? So where you know where the bank money is, where Maduro money is, who's in charge of that? 6, who's in charge of the drugs now? Because the drugs ain't gonna stop. The last one's gonna be a big one. 7, who is the person in charge of telecommunications? Because whoever that is lined up with Elon to do this Starlink and give up everything they can to Intel. But here's the big one. Here's the first big bombshell. You ready? This is the first. This is gigantic. That nobody's really, no, and you would think somebody would ask this. What I would like to know, who's in charge of the sex trafficking? No, listen to what I just said. Do you know that Venezuela is one of the most sex trafficked cities ever? Like Trump. Do you know? So here you have one of the most sex trafficking cities. They got drugs. They got tons of money. They just kidnapped the leader. And they told the de facto leader, you better act right or you next. And she is fighting and talking. And if she don't back down, then they're going to take her out. But if she don't back down, she a real one. She is not in with them. But if she does back down, that was all set up as drama to look like she was fighting back. And she took over and capitulated because she was in it in the first place. She was in on it to convince the other cronies that may not be in on it that she fought her best fight. She can't stand against America. But if she's that other person, she's like, fuck America, I don't care, come get me. And they come get her, whoever takes her place is going to be the CIA person. If she backs down, she is the CIA person. Now, where does, again, Elon come in with the telecommunications that are free? I'm going to re-explain this. The telecommunications gives intel. The telecommunications helps in this deal with the oil. Elon's getting a piece. And he's part of the Epstein files because, again, the sex trafficking is one of the biggest sex trafficking cities. Countries. And on top of that, this is the biggest oil country. Big for gold. They got tons of gold. Nobody's talked about the gold. Tons of gold. Okay? They got a lot. And what I'm trying to tell you is that where Elon comes in on these files is that he is one of those billionaires. They bring in to finance things and finance deals. Maybe he's in on the pedo stuff. Maybe he's not. But I'll tell you this, and he could be in on the pedo stuff, just like I said, these 6 operators, they could or could not be in the pedo stuff, but they are in those files. Our own counterintelligence and FBI are in those files. Where Epstein comes in, where Elon comes in, nobody's mentioned once that he knows Epstein. Not once. Not a whim. But he's in those files as an operator. One of these people, there's a whole bunch of these people who know that. And he's part of the deal to go in on Venezuela. Because the Epstein file operators, these 6 operators, are involved in Venezuela. They're going to be involved in Cuba if they invade, and I think they will. They'll be involved in Colombia if they do the same thing. I think they will. And we know their template: kidnap the leadership, give the remaining leadership an opportunity to act right, or they're going to fuck them up. Here's the thing you need to know. The Epstein list people, the Epstein operators, because remember, Epstein list is this big. The whole video is sex trafficking. It is not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is the money, the guns, the drugs, but really the money. The money, not only the money for the guns, drugs, exotic art, and the sex trafficking, but money they move from banks to offshore, to vaults, to a variety of places. And everybody, when I say everybody, back in the day when Reagan got the Swiss banks to open up the vaults in the 80s, and America was shocked. You know what they found? They didn't find big drug dealers or super mafia money. No, they found some of that. But what they really found, 80, 90%, was everyday Americans hiding their money, as well as millionaires and a few billionaires. Because there wasn't a lot back then of billionaires. But you see what I'm saying? They hiding their money. And what I'm trying to tell you is that there are trillions, tens, maybe even hundreds of trillions hidden. I'm serious. Dark money. Dark money. That's what you need to look at. Follow the dark money. And Elon is the quintessential person of dark money. Every one of these people, including the intelligence community, he's worked with and he's hired. They're going to keep Elon safe as much as they can. The thing that's going to fuck Elon is Doge. That's what's going to get him, Doge. Doge is his downfall. That's why he ran like hell from there. Too much attention. But now he's going in with his satellites. Just like he went in on the election 2024 on the satellites and stole the you-know-what. Can't even say it on YouTube because they're in their feelings. But what we see is a connection of the Epstein files, which is coming out, y'all. It's coming out. And Venezuela. By the way, all this Venezuela, and Trump and threatened 30 countries. You know why he's doing that? Because they just passed the deadline for the DOJ. DOJ had till Saturday to submit a reason why they're redacting files to Congress. It's going to be hell to pay. And here's what I believe is going to happen with that. Bondi's going to jail. Bondi's going to jail. I'll do another video on that. Bondi's going to jail. But she'll gladly go to jail with her head held high. You know why? Because she's protecting that world. You know why? Because when she gets out of office, and this happened with her as AG, she got out of office and made millions as AG in Florida. Oh, by the way, you know she was the AG for Florida when they were making a deal with Epstein, right? Let me remind you of that. What I'm saying is she didn't get paid, or she got a campaign donation. She got a head nod on the society. She's protecting that society and made millions in consulting, like with Qatar, $400,000 a month, just with that one client. Then when she goes private again, after either she resigns or she goes to jail, even if she loses her license, people have asked me that. Well, if she loses a legal license, it's over. No, it's not. As a consultant, she can hire whatever lawyer she wants. They will do business with Bondi directly because they know they can trust her. They know she's willing to go to jail, not only for the president, but willing to go to jail for the society. Fuck the president. It's about the society. That same society that's financing and legally making it possible. They make it illegal, but they making it possible to go into Venezuela and steal all their oil. That's what it's about. And Elon is a part of this society. Now, is he part of the pedophile part? Again, I'm not sure, but I will say this. He is definitely part of these operators. That's the most dangerous thing. It's not the billionaire. It's not the millionaires. It's not the celebrities. It's not the, the famous people, the powerful people. It's these people who walk in silence. Don't nobody know about the lawyers, financiers, even though they write in your face. When I say lawyers, major law firms. When I say financiers, I'm talking about Morgan Stanley, Chase, blah, blah, blah. Assistants to these people and assistants to millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, and powerful people. I'm talking about in D.C., Silicon Valley, Wall Street, okay, Hollywood. Luxury assistants for every kind of luxury you want. CIA, FBI, counterintelligence, don't nobody even know who that is. Did you notice what they said about Venezuela? Notice? They didn't say CIA operatives went in. They said the FBI. The goal of the FBI is for the U.S. It's not for international shit like that. Prakash Patel is Daddy's Trump's boy. Why didn't they do the CIA? I'm sure they got intel for the CIA, but why didn't they do the CIA? Part of that is that there is a civil war going on. Trump fired a bunch of intelligence officers out the NSA, CIA, blah, blah, blah. Either they didn't have the wherewithal services, or there was some resistance. People don't know. I'll try to do a video on that. There's a lot of angles here, and I'm not making them up. They're straight up right in front of your face. When you have this Epstein society, when you got one of the members of that Epstein society protecting everybody and coming in with Venezuela, and then I haven't even talked about the businesses. I'll show you how that comes in. Venezuela has something called heavy oil, very heavy oil, sludge. It's not something we use in everyday America. It's something that can be processed in major companies like Chevron and other companies. They're in on this deal. They done paid off Daddy Trump to get in on this deal. All that heavy oil helps them process it at a low cost. Why? Because they need a lot of it. If they don't have a lot of it, it's a high cost. If there's abundance, it brings down the price tremendously. There's a lot of investors who made money. And I'm not talking about, it could be political, but there are people, everyday people who know that industry, who are traders, who are investors, who know that it's going to bring down this, and they could be, hedging their bet that the price will go down and make money from it. And I'm talking about retail investors too, everyday investors, you and me, everyday investors. They can be coming in and doing it. So we're not talking about the super ultra rich are in on it. No. Once they saw that invasion, they knew what was up, or they suspected or speculated before the invasion that the price of oil would go down because there was going to be a takeover. They're coming in to take the oil. Now, I want to give you a little history real quick. America brought the machines to make the oil. They went into Venezuela back in the 1800s, all the way through the 1900s. And then what happened is the communists took over. The dictators took over and said, fuck you, America. Oh, another thing. They owe America and a lot of companies money. They had oil deals that they cut off. That's why his ass got kidnapped. That's why his wife got kidnapped. That's why I said, look at all of the people who are the players in Venezuela, who controls the money, the drugs, the sex trafficking, who controls the defense, who controls the telecommunication working with Elon. Why did they take the wife? Because she know where the billions are that they're hiding in overseas, and they know what's going on, who's controlling the banks. The richest family in the world, Rothschilds, had a saying. They probably still had that saying. Give me the banking laws and I care not who runs the country. And Elon's coming in with the money. And he's part of that gang. Just as much as he's part of the cover-up. of the Epstein files because he's in that son of a bitch. I swear to you, he's in that. He's in that. And it's a whole bunch of other people. It's a society being protected, and they want you thinking more of Venezuela than you do Epstein. I'm sure you understand that by now. But overall, they're losing out. Here's where they lose. Grifting. The grifting. The grifting's going to eat them alive. It's tracing back publicly. And in the future, their ass is going down. Now, I know what you're saying. When? They kick Trump out, they can get him quick. That's why we're hoping to focus on Epstein and get him kicked out and find these teeny pictures, these pedo pictures. But the other thing is that if they don't kick him out enough, even after his administration, he's done for. He's done for. He's done for. They're coming for him. And they're coming for these people who grift. America, the one thing we're certain about is that they may move slow, but they're going. And no, they can't get pardoned when they're out of office. Nobody can pardon them when it's Democrats. And if he's kicked out of office, he no longer has immunity, and the states can go after his ass, especially over the pedophile. Elon's in those lists. They're going to get him. They're going to get him good. It's coming. Stay tuned. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. Take care. Bye.